Hello and welcome to episode 176 of the Podiatry Business Podcast with myself, Lorcan O'Donaile, podiatrist, health business mentor and owner of Podiatry Patients on Tap. So today's podcast is called Getting Found Online in the AI Age, a Podiatry Clinic's Guide. So this is, I'm hoping, a game-changing discussion or a podcast about the shift that is happening from traditional SEO to what we call SEAI, which is search engine AI versus search engine optimization, and why podiatry clinics must adapt this now or risk becoming invisible to their patients. So if you're still optimizing your podiatry website for Google, like it's 2020 or even like it's 2022, then you're already invisible to a growing percentage of potential patients. And here's why. So basically what's happening is your ideal patients aren't typing podiatrist near me, plantar fasciitis into Google the way they were. They're now going and they're asking ChatGPT, Claude, etc. for recommendations. And if you're not showing up there, then you don't exist. So, as you probably know, what we do here, one of the things we do is we provide a end-to-end marketing service for podiatry clinics worldwide, and we're really, really good at it, if I say so myself. And part of that was doing Google Ads. And what we found with Google Ads is there was two types of Google Ads that would work. So one was condition specific. So example of a condition specific ad is, say, plantar fasciitis. People who would type in plantar fasciitis treatment, etc., they were in the research phase. And what they were doing is they were looking for information about where to go next. And those kind of patients weren't quite ready to book now or to phone your clinic directly, but they were willing to take information off your website, maybe in exchange for their contact details when you can follow up with them. That's not happening anywhere near as much as it was. And those type of advertisements are simply not working the way they were even 5 months ago. What's happening now is that people who are doing research for condition specific are now going to AI. So, or even when they go to Google and they type it in, Google is now giving them what we call non-click answers. So they're giving them AI generated answers at the top of the search, which means that that person no longer needs to click and go to your website anymore to find that answer. So what we're finding is that in a lot of cases, those ads are not working as well as they were. They're being pushed down by free AI generated results. And as a result, they're not getting the results that they want. The second type is of Google ad was podiatry near me, podiatrist near me, chiropodist near me, whatever it wants, profession specific. Those ads were ads that were people who were ready to book somewhere and were just looking for somewhere that they could go and see somebody now, etc., etc. And those ads are still working. They're still making the phone ring, and they're certainly holding their own. But what we're seeing with those ads is that AI is only really recommending the type of clinics that have enough information for that person. So if you're not open with your hours, your costs, etc., what you do, your conditions, if you haven't got answers for everything that they're asking, then you're going to be in trouble. So it is completely changing, and there's a small window of opportunity for you as a clinic owner to get ahead of your competitors. So if we look at what we might say is the death of traditional SEO. So traditional SEO is when you would have keywords like podiatrist in whatever your city is. So I'm in Cork. You would optimize for that throughout your website, etc. You'd have backlink building. You would have boring things, what like we call meta descriptions, title tags, and you would be trying to get into local directory listings. So basically, you can go and you can pay to have your service provided in all these local directories. And in a lot of cases, SEO, where SEO companies, not us, were putting these into local directory listings that were, to be honest, not a lot of use. And people were optimizing Google My Business. Now, this is dying, but it's not dead. And there is a massive change undergoing. What we're seeing is, like I said, is AI is the new search engine. Whether people go directly to something like ChatGPT or whether they go to Google and Google will then give them an AI search for free, what we're seeing is, and research is telling us, is that 40% plus of people are now starting their research on whether they're going to pick a clinic like yours with AI tools which have zero-click. So they're not actually going to anyone's website. And AI is going to provide the answers without users having to click through. So those users, those potential patients, their behavior has also changed. They're now starting to have conversations with the AI, not just keyword phrases. So instead of saying plantar fasciitis and typing that in, they might type in, I have plantar fasciitis, I have it for quite a while and it's causing me this problem, what can I do for it, etc., etc. And there's a shift in trust. Users, potential patients, are now starting to trust AI over paid ads. You've probably done it yourself. You've probably gone to Google recently, typed in some search, and instead of scrolling down and clicking on something, you've probably just gone through the AI that Google has provided with you. So what's happening is when someone is typing in, I have heel pain and I live in your city, who should I see? You have to ask yourself, is your clinic being recommended? And AI is only going to recommend you if you're ticking the boxes that it wants to. If not, you have the potential to be losing those type of patients that you're trying to achieve, and that maybe your current marketing is not going to deliver the results. So this is where SEAI, or search engine AI, comes into play. So what is it? So SEAI is where you're optimizing your online presence. So your AI tools, or sort of AI tools, will recommend your clinic over everyone else. What you're doing is you're making content that is A, AI readable, and B, AI recommendable. And you're positioning yourself as the authority that AI will trust. And it is a different thing to what you've been doing up until now to get Google to trust you. Now, it doesn't mean we're going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. We're not going to do what Google wants us to do, but we need to restructure how we do this so that we're ending up with AI. So how AI will research podiatrists is it will scan for authority signals. It will look for published content that you've put out, not just a website. If you haven't updated your website, you might as well be invisible. It will look for demonstrations of your expertise and maybe even patient outcomes. It will value, and this is probably one of the biggest things, it will value depth of what you say over keywords. So you'll need to have long form, and I mean 2,000 word blogs, content, that helpful content that will beat keyword stuffed pages, which is what the typical SEO agency will do. It will look for proof, reviews, testimonials, case studies, and so on. And it will prioritize recency. So you have to have fresh content. If you went and published 50 blogs, but you did them 5 years ago, you're toast. You have to be constantly showing that you're up to date. So there's three main pillars for SEAI. Authority content, it's got to be AI friendly, and you have to have a digital footprint depth, which means you've got to be seen across platforms. Now, there's a number of differences between traditional SEO and SEAI. And the key differences are, traditional SEO is going to go for a keyword. For example, podiatrist, put your town in there, podiatrist Cork. The goal then is to rank number one or up towards the top on Google. And what you're going to do is you're going to have a services page for that's very small, maybe 300 pages. And your focus as an agency will be to have technical optimization. So you're optimizing all the back end, boring stuff, okay? Whereas SEAI, instead, the question is, who is the best podiatrist in your town for whatever? And what the goal will be is to get AI to recommend an answer. AI will recommend an answer for whoever has demonstrated the best expertise and outcomes in that area and has a comprehensive guide, typically 2,000 words. Now you're probably saying, Lorcan, I don't have time to be writing 2,000 word guides. Well, I'm going to show you a solution for that. So what AI is looking for that Google doesn't care about at the moment, but is changing, is that you have conversational content, that you have natural language that answers the real questions that people are asking, that you've got proof of results, that you have consistency, so you have regular content showing your active expertise, and that you have niched down over generalized claims. So niched means rather than just simply saying I'm a great podiatrist, come and see me, you talk about particular questions that people are asking about particular things. So how are you going to do this? I'm going to talk to you about how you do this. So first step is you need to create ongoing AI friendly content. So you need to write comprehensive guides that answer the questions that people are asking in your area. You've got to use natural language and conversational language. And ideally what you want to be doing is you want to be answering the questions that your ideal patient is asking in your town. And there's software out there that you can use, even free software, that you can go and you can ask it to show you what are the questions that people are asking. And typically it's in Google at the moment, but that's where the data is. What are the questions on this condition? So you might type in plantar fasciitis, it'll show you the top 50 questions in the phrases, in the way that people write it in your town. And what you need to make sure you're doing is you're answering each particular question in a comprehensive manner that is AI friendly. Then you need to make sure that step 2 is you build an authority from this. So you have to have long form articles. I can talk about 1,500, 2,000 words rather, on specific topics that you found from earlier. Maybe you're going to have to do real patient outcomes with some data. Maybe you're going to start to do YouTube, because YouTube is fantastic, but you have to have the transcripts, because AI currently is not scraping video, it is scraping text. And then you've made step 3 is then you've got to make sure that you structure this for AI consumption. So you've got to use clear headings, you've got to use subheadings, you've got to answer the questions directly, and you've got to make sure that your expertise is scannable. Now I'm going to show you an example of what I mean by this. So this is my own clinic, achillesclinic.ie. If you want to, you go to Lay's blog, you can see here. This is an AI friendly blog. So even the image is built by AI. I'll show you that in a moment. So what we're doing is we're answering, this is a test one, we're answering question that people are asking, but we're not doing it in a way that's like a story. It's more of a question answer all the way down, because this is what AI wants you to do. Now it might be to you, you might look at it and go, well, this is not actually how I would want to write it as a podiatrist, because typically we're trained to write for other podiatrists, but this is the way AI wants you to do it, which is slightly different to the way up until now we have been doing it for Google. So you need to make sure, like I said, that you structure for AI consumption. And then step 4 is you need to make sure that you are everywhere that AI is going to look. LinkedIn, Facebook, your website, Google My Business, etc., etc., all the typical places, but you got to be there everywhere in that way. Now, why does this matter? Because if you get this right, it gives you a massive competitive advantage. And what we're seeing is that 95% of podiatry clinics, if I'm honest, 99% of podiatry clinics are still doing traditional SEO, if they're doing it at all. And AI adoption and AI use by your patients is accelerating monthly. You're probably doing it yourself when you're looking for services. And early adopters will dominate AI recommendations. And the window for this is closing fast. So you have to get on top of this, because what you're going to find is that perhaps today your website is ranking very highly, but as your competitors get on top of this, yours will tank, because it's not delivering to AI what you want to see. If you don't believe me, go and search. Just simply go and ask what is happening with normal SEO versus AI search, and you'll see typical websites like the BBC, Daily Mail, etc., that their web visitors are dropped by 75% plus in the last 3-4 months. So what do we do here in Podiatry Patients on Tap? Well, we have an advantage that we don't just do marketing for podiatry clinics. What we do is we build an SEAI optimized system. So from end to end, we make sure it is optimized for AI. But part of that is our SEO AI version. While your competitors are still focusing on the old style and still trying to just buy Google Ads, we're making sure that ChatGPT, that Google AI is going to be showing your results by doing so. So how do we do that? Well, we're doing all the steps I talked about, but we're doing it in a comprehensive manner. So what we're doing for our clients, we're about to launch this in the next week or so, and we've been testing in my own clinic, is we're going to be launching a blog every single day, 365 days a year, and then spreading it everywhere in our town for our clients, because we're going to make sure that we're answering the questions that our clients' patients are asking in their town. We research it for their town. Then we're going to write specific blogs to answer those questions for each of those clients, and we're going to publish it, and we're going to do a huge number of these. Now, we physically can't sit down and do this, so we have to figure out a way, how can we make sure that we can do this at scale? So what we have done is we're now building and we're using what we call agentic AI. So agentic AI is essentially, we're using AI to do workflows to build the entire thing for us. So here is an example. This is a screenshot of one very similar to one we're using. And what this essentially is, this is built using software. The software we're using is N8N, but there are loads of different ones out there. And essentially what this does is this agent, okay, will research the topic in that particular podiatry clinic's town. It will then write a blog based on the instructions that we've given it, which I've just talked about. It will then publish that onto their website, making sure to add meta tags, to put in an image that is correct, etc., etc. And then once that's done, it will make sure that then that is passed on and republished throughout social media, Google My Business, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc., etc. So once that's set up, what will happen is maybe once a quarter, maybe once a year, depending on what you do it, you will go and you will feed into that the topics that you want covered. So if you as a clinic owner decide that I want to fill my clinic with plantar fasciitis and orthotics patients, then what you will do is you'll research those conditions in your town. You will come up with the top 20, 30 questions that are being asked, which software will tell you. You'll then have that blog written in a way that AI friendly. You will publish it and you will republish it to all of your software, all of your social medias. And by doing so, what you're going to make sure is that you are AI friendly, that AI is going to start to show your clinic over everyone else's clinic, and it will give you a competitive advantage over everyone else. Now, if you just do this once every 6 months, you do it once every month, as you can tell, that isn't going to work. So you have to be seen to be providing good quality, consistent, fresh content. So for us, for our clients, we're going to be doing this every single day from now on forever. But we're using AI agents that we're building within our Podiatry Patients on Tap to deliver that great outcome for them. Agents we've trained bespoke for each particular clinic. This is the kind of thing you should be looking at trying to do. You can be very technical, you can be less so, but you have to realize that the old way of doing SEO, the old way of putting up your website, leaving it there and you'll still show up, that's gone. The old way of going into Google Ads, spending money with Google Ads and just assuming that you'll be at the top of the page, that's also gone. That you have to make sure that you are on top of the new AI era when it comes to picking your clinic, because it is going to recommend some clinic and you want it to be you over your competitors. So obviously, if you want to chat to us about getting us to help you with this, we'd be delighted to do so. We do build agentic AI. We do build agents for you that just do what I just talked about. More than happy to speak to you. Just go to morepracticeprofits.com or even podiatrypatientsontap.com, whichever one suits you. Reach out to us whatever way you want, and we'd be delighted to have a talk. So until next time, I hope you found that helpful. I hope you found it useful, and get publishing.